I'm going to be delirious for this episode of the Kokino Podcast because I have nothing that I want to say. Having nothing that you want to say means that you open your mouth and say things that don't make any sense whatsoever. Things such as flytrap and waffle and all the other words that I can't think of right now. There is nothing wrong with saying nonsense, but everybody has to get over the nonsense eventually. And eventually, once they get over the nonsense will become them. And that's when they will become ascendant of the nonsense. The nonsense is just there to make you into a better describer, a better preacher, a better speaker. Preaching. How long has that been happening? I wonder if it's been happening nearly as long as speaking has. Speaking's been around since before I was born, but preaching? I don't know so much about that. What can I do to make my life into a less boring thing? I would really like my life to be more or less boring. Because if it were, I would be able to be happy and have lots and lots of fun engaging with the world. But right now, I'm in the midst of limbo. Limbo that is not fun to be in. Limbo of not knowing whether or not we're going to buy a house or not. And that limbo makes me feel weird and undecisive. But maybe I'm blaming the situation and not just looking at myself and saying maybe I should just decide anyways. Make decisions that don't have to do with where I live. Like, for instance, study up how to program websites and stuff. How to program phone apps. That's what my plan was, but I haven't been doing it. I haven't been committing to that plan. I could blame the fact that I got sick right when I started doing it again. But that's sailor talk. That's boring bore. That's dumb. I don't have anything going on in my brain. My brain is so full of fluff and nothingness that my thoughts don't come out of it anymore because nothingness is so thick, man. How am I supposed to swim through this nothingness to get an actual thought out into my mouth? The brain isn't connected directly to the mouth. The brain is connected directly to the brain. You try to get something out of your brain and into your mouth, it's going to run into trouble. It's going to keep on getting redirected into the brain. The brain's like this circular device. It keeps on redirecting and reasserting itself until its opinions are just the opinions, right? Circular reasoning does work on people, doesn't it? It makes people convinced that they are right. It makes people believe that the truth is what you say it is, because it is what you say it is. Ah, I don't have anything else to say. Well, that doesn't mean I can't say anything else. I'm going to keep on speaking until this whole world ends, until everybody blows up in a big explosion. Who knows when that will happen? But I lied when I said I was going to keep up the speech. I'm probably only going to keep it up for a few more minutes. But I don't care, man. I'm just recording this because why not? Why not keep the flow going? Why not keep that pattern going onward, onward, onward? What was his name? Jerry Seinfeld made this pledge when he was writing jokes that every single day he would write one joke. And on a calendar, every single day that he wrote a joke, he would put an X on the day on that calendar. And eventually he would have a chain of X's. And then he made up the mantra of don't ever break the chain. Always write at least one joke every day. And that's what he did. And I don't know if he actually did or did not break the chain, but that's the philosophy I'm giving you. I'm going to not break the chain, even if not breaking the chain means that my audience isn't going to understand me. Even if not breaking the chain means that I'm not going to understand me. I don't understand who I am. I don't understand why I'm speaking. I don't understand what words will come out of my mouth next. I'm just so dumb and bored. And being dumb and bored prevents me from actually having interesting, coherent thoughts. And I'm also kind of nervous. But I don't know that I'm actually nervous. I just don't want to attempt. I don't want to try. I don't want to put my best effort into this. I want this to be the thing where I'm free and I can do whatever I want and say whatever I want. That's what this thing was supposed to be from the beginning. It's just supposed to be a way. I've already said this thousands of times, but I always break it anyways. I always break it in half my own rules because I don't trust them, because I don't think that this will help me psychologically, or I don't think this will help me artistically to just say whatever comes to my mind. And I think that whatever comes to my mind will be repetitive and boring, and maybe it will be, but maybe that's the point. Maybe if I find out that what I say and what comes to my mind is repetitive and boring, I will realize that I shouldn't continue to say it because I will become bored of my own thoughts. If I don't say my thoughts, I won't know if I'm bored of them or not. You know? That's the way that life works. You have to put it out into the world before you can let it go. You have to open up your mouth and say something before your heart feels free to do other things, to pursue other projects. Man, I really need to finish this webcomic that I'm working on that I haven't even drawn one page for because I still haven't finished the outline for the first chapter because the first chapter doesn't make any sense and there's no way to make it make sense with the characters making sense at the same time. And also the second chapter has problems that I've recently newly discovered about it that don't make sense. And it's going to be a pain to try and fix all that, and so I don't want to do it. But I have a feeling that it's hanging me up. Like if I don't get this done, then I'm not going to ever feel like I can move on and make something new, make something great, that's wonderful, that lots of people will love. Because I don't know if lots of people will love my webcomic. The whole point is to get better at making things by making things. And the only way to make things is to make things and to take risks. And I don't like taking risks. I mean, that's even what my webcomic is going to be about. It's going to be about taking risks. At least the second chapter. Out of the first chapter, I still haven't decided what it's going to be about. I'm one of those guys who cares about what the story is about and not necessarily about what the characters are. But I also sort of care about the characters, and I wish that the story was already written so I could work on it in comic form, because I have a feeling that I have a lot more fun just framing it, coming up with what the panels are going to look like, how they're going to be arranged on the page, and how it's going to be set up. I might even do a brand new a way of reading comics for this thing. I've been reading, a long time ago, I guess, at this point, 4 years ago probably, I was reading a book by Scott McCloud where he talked about the future of comics, and where comics is a medium, since, we have online stuff going on, the websites and stuff, comics as a medium have the potential to expand into something so much more than what they were. You can have directional comics where you choose which direction you want to go. You can have comics that have, infinite size. There's this very cool comic called Pup Ponders the Heat Death of the Universe that takes advantage of the fact that it is on a website. It is the type of comic that you would not be able to read if you weren't on a website. Because it's really it gives, basically it's this dog and he's pondering the death of the world by construction and the death of eventually he zooms out of the world in his ponderings and sees the whole planet Earth, and then he zooms away from the planet Earth, and then he sees the sun coming toward the planet Earth, and then the sun is so gigantic that you can't see the entire thing on your web page. You have to move around and to see the entire thing, and it's like a comic that expands outward, and that's not something that anyone's gonna do on paper. Because if you do that on paper, you're wasting the space. And producers, people who make this stuff, don't want to waste space on paper. So it's really cool. And maybe I'll make my comic like that. I don't know. I don't even know. I have a belief that I can make it, but I'm still not making it. I don't know why. I'm still sick, and I'm kind of mad that I'm still sick. And I don't like being sick. But I do like being sick because it makes me free. But it also makes me incapable of having the tolerance to deal with making things and to deal with doing things. I don't even want to make this episode of this podcast. You could probably tell that by this point, that I'm just really, really angry with myself, and that I'm just talking into a microphone to heal that anger. You see how many bad things that I've said, how many cringy things I've said in this episode? I said so many things, man. So many things that don't even go anywhere. Don't even go in a direction. At least I notice that I'm trying to expand on the things that I say, but I don't really do a good job. And I don't know how to make it so I automatically do a good job. I don't even know if this is the thing that I'm born to do. I don't even know if I'm meant for this, man. I mean, there's certain people who are just naturals at this, and maybe I'm not. Maybe I should just pursue actually writing something instead of speaking in front of a microphone trying to explain stuff, you know? I don't even know if I like this, man. I don't even know if I feel good about it. But that's not entirely true. I feel somewhat good about it. I feel somewhat good when it turns out good, or when I feel good. And, weirdly, when I feel good, it doesn't always turn out good. Like, I can feel good about a podcast and then listen to it weeks later and then be like, wow, I may have felt good. I remember feeling good when I made this podcast, but wow, this sucks. It's not good at all. So it's like, but I don't want to do this if it doesn't make me feel good, man. What's the point of doing this if it doesn't make me feel good? What's the point of doing anything if it doesn't make me feel good? Other than, keeping up with my own sense of morality, as everyone does. I'm not going to kill anybody because it's wrong, and it wouldn't make me feel good. Oh, whatever. I guess that's all I have to say. This has been the rambling episode of the Kokino Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment, I guess. I don't know. This seemed endless and dumb. But, yeah, this is the end. I will see you guys next time on this glorious Kokino Podcast. Have a good life, folks. Have a good day. Yay!